So this morning we did call a little bit bullish, which we kind of had. It's a little hard to see, but right around this morning, that's about, 10 hours ago, um, it had a nice little run up of about, $50 billion, and then it dropped right back to where we were at this morning. Oops. And we're at this red level, so we had this target over here, and we basically hit that right here this morning. So that's where I thought we were bouncing. So for us to have to touch that again, it's not necessary. What's interesting that I saw on Ethereum is a fib ratio here. So this rise that we have starting from September 29th is about, on the 4-hour, is 50 bars, and the decline is 31 bars. And when you put that in a calculator, that's basically 62%, right at that 0.618 ratio for the decline of as part of Elliot theory. Basically, the decline is usually 0.618, or 2/3 of the size of the rise of the impulse wave up, as opposed to the correction down. So, and again, we've only touched this once. This is really our first run up and our first big correction down after the main correction from the major wave down, or the primary trend, major trend, I guess. So we had this major trend with these minor trends, and so we had a correction to that major trend, actually to a double correction, a double three, I guess. And what we have here then is most likely the start of the 1-2, hopefully, because we do see, at least that 3 turns, or the 2 turns, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's basically 1, 2, 3, 4 turns, I guess. So we just hit our first turn. This would be our second turn, third turn, fourth turn, and then, kind of what this Elliott wave right here is doing. But I guess we'd have to extend the timing. So if this is the 5, there wasn't really the correction here. I guess we'll have to adjust that now that we're kind of spotting this a little bit. So I imagine if this is the 5, let's make this a little more fancy. $4,200 seems like a nice target. I'm going to have this line here. So because the second wave doesn't look like a triangle pattern, I imagine 4 would be a triangle pattern, pretty sideways, and then we have our up. Hopefully some higher highs. Again, the net of the 1 and the 3. So if we have a price range from, that 3 is going to have to be a lot bigger, but maybe this is the first wave extension. If this is a first wave extension, the 3 could be smaller up here, and then you could have the 5 there. So, but the 5 is still the net of the 3, so if that's 51 bars, and That's 58 bars. So I guess 3 is about 1.618 of that one. So again, if this one is 57 bars, we'll just put 57 times 1.618, so that's 92 bars. So I imagine this would have to be 92 bars. Yeah, that would be a little too much, but it's possible. I mean, the whole world is kind of falling apart. China's defaulting. I don't really see that. The market and the Elliott waves don't contradict each other. The market usually does what the Elliott waves are primed to do, with all world events taken into account. So, if we have, again, that 57 and let's say 23, so it's like 34. How is that? I'm sorry. 57 minus 32 is, yeah, 25, yeah. Does that fit anything up here? Yeah, who knows? So that'd be cool. So we're hoping for that. Just because we've already touched that line once on the total cap, we haven't really rose up this green volume up here yet. I guess maybe once. So, and we haven't really captured this selling pressure or hit these target zones. But again, that would probably nullify the two wave, and the second wave does feel the most bearish. So we'll leave that there. Ethereum dominance, what can it do? We've already dropped down. We're on the 4 hour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we were to adjust this Elliott wave, basically here instead of there. And so we have our correction starting. So we have our first, ABC correction. Hopefully that's a zigzag up. So it'd be a 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 correction down, and then maybe a 5 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would hopefully be the start of the first leg or something like that. Otherwise, we'd be continuing the trend down because this is a pretty significant wave down. And again, we could have Bitcoin dominance do some bullish stuff. We did pass into this bearish territory, hit this target up here, getting back into bullish zone. Break out in the up channel. So should continue going down, hopefully 0.5% over the next day, and then we'll kind of see from there what it's actually doing relative to dominance. It was doing some kind of opposite stuff here. It was first kind of going bearish up, and then it went bullish, even though we crossed this neutral zone. And even though Bitcoin really dropped a lot, Bitcoin dominance dropped a lot, it's not like Bitcoin went, it's not like alts went up during that time. So here's Ethereum, it went down during that same time frame. So that's not good. Nothing else really went up. We have a huge red zone. Mostly everything is red right now. Even leash is now down. When SHIB rises, that could be the tail end of a bull run, but I'm not discounting that just yet. This was really our first wave up from a lot of down in September. So let's not get too scared just yet. But I would probably still mostly be in Ethereum and Bitcoin, because if you had Ethereum this morning, you'd be right around the same right now, even though total cap did a nice little drop. Like I said, about 50 billion or even 100 billion today over the last day. So, but this morning it did go up, and really the key is the next 4 hours is really the key, because that's what's driving this Elliot time ratio. So I do think we'll start turning up within the next 4 hours, and that's pending USDT stays calm and doesn't shoot up and break out of this up channel, but instead goes down. And I do have this target up here, so watching out for that, but that's not too far away, so it shouldn't be a huge bump on that. If you look at the daily, it's mostly selling pressure, which we've already dropped, and it's not a cliff side, so it's going to stay below here for a good bit, and hopefully we test down below here as we change direction. So if we had this as a 5-wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here we got a correction. I mean, I don't know if these would be drawn the same way anymore from when I drew these in August, but I've learned a little bit more since then. But we can have, our A, B, C. This looks like a potential ABC, ABC, unless that was the 5-wave down, so it was the 3, 3, 5, possibly. I think this ABC, actually, hold on. That's a zigzag up, not a flat correction, even though this is kind of like a flat correction with a zigzag. Kind of, the first part of the zigzag is pretty flat, basically. But we could probably still call this a zigzag. And then this might be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it could just be a single correction up, and we could even look at the timing on that as well to see if that was truly the 618 correction. Why not? So if we have roughly 48 bars and 23 bars, that's 48. So 48 times 618 is 29 bars. So 29 bars would be here. Anyway, could be close enough. Anyway, so that could be the zigzag correction up, and now this could then be the 5-wave down. And so, with that being the case, And this correction would then continue down, hopefully, to continue the trend. But then again, this correction would have to be 0.618 of this, but it's not looking like that unless this is from the 5. So if we were to count from here, we'll just do another test. So if that's 15 bars, and that's 7 bars, it's again 0.47. So it's at least similar to the last cycle. And so based on recency, we can consider those similar in that way. But for us to continue down from here, we'd have to kind of go a little bit more bearish and then correct down. I do see still short-term bearish, hoping for Wednesday turnaround day. Not getting too excited about anything, not really adding in right now. Added in this morning. Kind of want to see what's in store tomorrow. Ethereum at 34.5 is honestly maybe a good add-in. So be careful, not financial advice, trade at your own risk. Aside from that, just a quick mention, NFTs, we got Arc Racing Club. If you get one of these, you get a free car to go along with it, because you obviously need a car to race. So it's going to keep going until they're all minted. And got a few others that are going for a steal. These were 2 sold to mint, so if you pick these up, it's a good group of people and developers behind this project that will continue building it up. So anything below mint for a long-term project is a steal. Same with these. Dojo box with the floor price right around the mint price. Some of these are based on the Cyber Samurai Special Edition, which are going for quite a lot of soul. 45 volumes sold of these in selling this collection. So there's only 250 collections on Magic Eden right now. There's 250 getting launched on How Rare Is It, I think, is their website over the next 3 months or 2 months, and it's like 76 of them not having a date. So with all that in mind, we are so early. There's only 23 million OpenSea assets of Ethereum NFTs. It's not even one for every American. Each person will have a phone, and so each of these will have a home by being the foundation. One of the other ones I wanted to mention is Politibox, because if you have a Politibox, you get a free tensor box. So that's really the key for me is, when these cost 150, 300 bucks to mint at this price, which is really cheap right now, to get a free one's a big deal. And so if you hold one of these Politiboxes, you get a free tensor box coming out. And these were 3 to mint, so they're right at the floor price. The last few below the mint price got picked up over the last couple of days. So still basically market value buy, and anything added below market value is a good buy again for those longer-term projects. But that's it for today, guys. Have a good day.